Morning, good afternoon.
Hello, good
Hello,
afternoon,
happy
guys.
birthday, Troy. Happy
Hey,
birthday,
thanks.
Oh yeah,
America.
good morning, actually. Yeah, happy birthday.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks again. It was a good day.
250. You look great. You don't look a
Yeah,
day
you
younger
don't look more.
than 250. Yeah,
Yeah, that's very reassuring, man. I appreciate it. How was your time off from the last podcast?
it was great. I sit here, for half an hour before I realized that there's no podcast, so I started to talk, to myself,
Did you
argued a
record
bit.
it and uploaded
No,
it?
no, I'm just kidding.
Man, you should have done
No,
that.
I was thinking about Troy because of the Formula One, but yeah, but that was okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry for your loss.
sorry for my loss. Thank you.
Yeah.
How
And you
about
don't
you,
want to
Judith?
watch the British Grand Prix now.
No, it's probably should be about close to end of the Grand Prix.
But
It's
they
getting close. Hour
they
and 10
they,
minutes.
they drive on the wrong side anyways, right?
Yeah, they do. They do. Fortunately for them, they sit in the middle of the car so they can pick and
Yeah.
choose.
No confusion. But the safety car comes in the different direction, it comes from the front.
Good
Anyhow.
times. How about you, Judith?
I'm good, I'm good. Busy with life. Other than that, everything is fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Went to watch the fireworks yesterday. One of
navigating the
million people.
masses. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun. Cool.
Our Swedish correspondent.
There you go. Build up her cred so she can get into the stadium.
Oh yeah, I
You never
couldn't
know.
get there, but my daughter could walk there because we were stuck in traffic. Everybody just stopped on the road, and they didn't want to move, and then they just got out of their cars, went around the corner of the building, and then hey, there was the fireworks.
Okay.
That's good. Good
At
outcome.
least weather was good.
Weather was really good. It was almost like 100 degrees here. During the day, it was humid, it was warm, but then as the sun went down, it started to be kind of acceptable from that perspective. And you know that I love heat, right? Me saying that it was very warm, it means something.
It means something. Yeah.
Means something, but yeah, this is the time of the year here when it's really warm. It's heat all around. Good weather, no storm, no nothings, and a clear blue sky. Well, dark sky, but it was clear.
It was blue somewhere.
In Australia, probably.
Awesome. Levy, we were talking beforehand
Yes,
a
sir.
little bit about some information that you came across. Do you want to go ahead and share?
Yes, I watched this guy Arpad Rap, who is a future researcher, and he's developing a lot of AI models and using it as much as well. And it was great to see that somebody is more enthusiastic about it than like technology than I am. So it was great to see that I'm not alone. But obviously, he's a much more versed person in this material. And what he was talking about, it was really, it was a version of what we were usually talk about. But it was good to see that as he's much more from the developer inside their point of view, seeing a lot of things and also appreciating the same struggles that we are usually talk about from the human point of view. So saying here, like predicting the same thing that we did with that it is a free bubble and it's free for the masses, but this is a clearly unsustainable model. So it will burst eventually, and then there will be probably a period of cooldown, but there has to be a way of finding the most practical way of using AI, and it's not generating kitty cat videos. So, and what he was also talking about is that people are mistaking it as a replacement for human. So thinking, feeling just a much smarter person than you are, but what people will have to eventually realize that it's not feeling it is generating it, it's not remembering anything that you said, it's not feeling with you, it cannot just switch with you because it's generating the answers based on a statistical probability on the current information that you enter. So if people are thinking that this will replace human interactions, are very much mistaken. It's never going to do that. Or if you put so much resources into it, it will light the earth on fire. It will generate so much heat. So what he was talking about was very interesting in the realm of of how much it worth using it, like financially, so how economical it is. And as we all know, who actually use it and use it as a professional tool as well, it's currently not as economical as the leadership would like you to believe. So it's not going to replace human like human imaginary capabilities, because that's what inventions are based upon. And it can help, though. If you think about it, come to mind that when they let AI design a rocket engine, one of those what it's called, bellless rocket engine. You know that, Troy, what it's called? It has like an acronym name. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. So it works on like the Coanda effect, the laminar fluid effect. That fluid will attach itself to any surfaces, and because of the pressure differences, it can actually you can replace the bell of the rocket engine, which is a set, feature of a rocket engine, but it's only idle for a given altitude or pressure. So, for instance, that's why, rocket engines that they use to launch a rocket are much smaller than the rocket engines that they use outside on the orbit, because I mean, the engine itself is the same, but the bell is much larger outside in the vacuum, because you have to keep the engine exhaust as much as possible compressed, so you can get most of the impulse, specific impulse, out of it. And that's with this kind of rocket, it's not needed, because it's like a self-contained. It will always, have the most idle pressure compared to the outside pressure. So I can't recall that they built this engine in real life as well, and the NASA was experimenting with it as well. But because the point is that it's going the rocket house is flowing in laminarly to one of the parts of the rocket engine. It's heating up like hell, so there was no material that can handle it. And they let AI. So coming back to the AI part, you can cut this. So coming back to the AI part, so they let AI to experiment and design one, and I think they printed it in a small scale 3D printer, like metallic 3D printer, and it was like an alien thing. So it didn't have anything to do with human technology, you would think. But then, if you think about it, AI isn't invented this. It's just based on what would be the most practical shape of it, and it wasn't hindered by the humans who learned rocket engineering for 10 years in the university. That how should a rocket engine look like? It was just saying that, okay, make a rocket engine that uses this kind of principles, and it did. And it turned out to be like more like a plant, an out of space, or alien plant, it looked like. And I think that's what AI can be innovative about, but it didn't reinvent a new kind of propulsion that humans haven't ever thought about. So you know what, I try to circle back. Sorry. So the
I would like to nominate Levy to be the NASA's head of engineer.
that- no, it's such a bullshit. I mean, half of the people probably know more about it than I do. But the thing is
Well,
that, yeah, well, the thing is that what wanted to come back as a point, that what and the guy was talking about as well, that you should focus on human side of things, because that will become valuable in the future. The machine can do faster coding than you can. It can be more precisely design things than you can. It won't need a vacation if it's too tiresome or 100 degrees outside. But the thing is that it will never be able to innovate, because it lacks the human brain capacity, and it will probably always lack the human brain capacity to not be confined by the laws that you know are true. You know what I mean? So you can
That's
always dream. It won't be able to dream instead of you. So yeah, I think
Yeah, I mean that's you're right. That's what we've been talking about all this time, right? From technology perspective, yes, it's going to do its job, but will never replace the human element of it. And we've said it so many times. There are so many little information in everybody's head that, you know, if it's not going to be fed into AI, it's not going to know it.
yeah, for sure. And also, if you think about it, like okay, it's replacing the most basic jobs like service desk and so on. But I think that's not going to
It's
fly
still not.
too far, to be honest, because people hate to talk to the AI service desk.
But
And
even then, Levy, we've seen it. I'm sure you saw it as well. But I know Troy and I were talking about it about our service providers, where we started chatting with the bot instead of giving you the option to talk to a human being.
yeah,
Both of us wasted like 20-30 minutes on a bot trying to get where we needed to get to and get the answer that we needed, just eventually having to talk to a live person. So we wasted 30 minutes, they could have given those 30 minutes back to us had we been able to connect to a human being at the very, very beginning. And yeah, one was that last year, Troy, I think. So a lot has changed and evolved, obviously. But at the same time, yeah, you're right. Nobody wants to talk to a chatbot. I think I told you that I had an experience when I was interviewing for one of the roles, or applied for one of the roles, and I got a text message that, hey, this is the available slot for the interview. If you want to do something else, click on this link, blah blah blah. And first of all, I didn't know that. At first, I didn't know that I was chatting with a bot. But at some point, it started feeling like, but it gave me the right answers and not the forced answers, like Troy, what you were talking about all the time when you ask, like, oh, that's a great question. No, it wasn't like that, but at some point it started to feel like it. I started to sense it, and then on the interview I asked the recruiter, was it an AI chatbot? Do I get it right? And then she was like, yeah. I told her that it took me a few minutes to recognize it. So I had good experience, but then she explained as well how much effort they put into it to get to that level where they are at this point.
Give your AI chatbot a name. So QTS, my guy is Jace. But when I talk to a person, it's not a guy.
They gave it a name. I'm not gonna say the name, but they gave it a name, and that was the first thing that was kind of confusing to me. But again, I started kind of testing with my replies, and it gave back the right reply. And like I said, she explained it at the end. The human explained it at the end, that how much effort they put into it to make it happen. And that it took a lot of time and energy, and I'm guessing money as well. But you need to have a company that's diligent enough and invested enough to make the right thing, or to do the right thing and make it the right way.
there was no disclaimer about you're going to talk to. I mean,
No, it was a text.
That's a problem, I think.
Well, I submitted my resume, and then they came back that, hey, we looked at it, this is blah blah blah. If you're interested and you still want to go ahead, then so that's what I'm saying. There were a couple more texts other than that, but it is what it is. There was no disclaimer.
One of the things you mentioned, Levy, that kind of coincides with something I read this week. Psychology Today had an article, and I don't know when it was published, if it was published just this week or if it's a previous article. It's called The Hidden Cost of AI at Work, Your Self-Compassion. In that, it talks a lot about the psychological and cultural risks. And one of the things that stands out in what you described for the rocket engineering, employee well-being. So according to Psychology Today, research indicates a 20% drop in self-compassion among regular AI users, who often become harder on themselves and question their value when comparing their output to a machine's efficiency. When you design a new rocket engine using AI, how do you think that affects those rocket engineers that were previously building the standard cone? Now they have to see this new construct that came from AI. What do you think the impact to them is? Do you think that psychologically they might start questioning, hey, I'm not as good as the damn machine?
I'm hoping that they are smart enough to know that that's not the case.
Yeah, I think so. Error spike, that's what it's called. Anyway, so I think it's more like aha moment. I don't think it will ever design a rocket engine that you can use for like human.
Yeah, going into production, it's going to probably go through iterations of change from
But
human.
you had this moment as well in talking to AI. When you start with an idea, it gives you something that you say that, well, that's not what I was thinking about. Then you keep on, and then eventually it will tell you something that fires something in your
Triggers.
brain, and it
Yep.
triggers some ideas that you
Mm-hmm.
were looking for, and then you can drop the guy. When it happens to you face to face to another human, it would be very rude to just walk away from the other person, because I started to get an idea. But luckily with AI, you can just leave the guy in the ditch, and it
Move
won't be
on.
like, okay,
Yeah.
what's
Well,
That's
happening, man?
that's a great point, though. I had that experience as well, where it gave me the wrong answers, and then one of the answers triggered a thought, and that's how I could get started on what I wanted to do eventually. But it goes back to, Levi, what we said so many times as well, right? When we were doing troubleshooting as well, when we were talking to each other, and one of us said something, and then remember. That was that time when we did this and that, and that's how we got to a conclusion and the solution eventually. And that's what
so
AI doesn't have.
no, I agree, and I don't. I'm not endorsing this article for anything, but it was compelling to me to hear as high as 20% drop in self-compassion. That means a lot of people are questioning their self-worth after
I can
having
imagine that.
interacted with AI.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
It's totally valid. I think, you know why I think it's valid? Because most of the people think about AI as a person, so they comparing themselves to it,
Right.
instead of thinking about it as a Google search engine, packaged into something else.
Yeah, we talked about this as well. Most people are not technical people. They don't understand how things are being built up and how things are working in the background, right? And if you take one of anybody from that group, it can get nasty in their heads that, hey, somebody is doing something better than I do, because they don't understand what they are using and what they are looking at and how it's working in the background. But if you get to the point to understand it, you're gonna recognize it that no, that thing is not smarter than I am. It's just faster
You see, I don't
and
want
has
to
more
get
resources.
I don't want to get political, but I think it is like a novel issue with society, that people lost their the distrust, like basic distrust against things that they are not face to face, or they are not know that much, like governments, for instance. So I think I mean, normally you would think that people who are not familiar with the technology will feel distrust towards the technology, and you see the total different, or total opposite. Like, they 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 believe, they want to believe that that thing is like, the word of God. It tells the truth. Whatever it says, it's the truth, and the only truth possible. And then, they put their life at risk, maybe, and then they die, and then AI says, I'm sorry, I was wrong. You're right.
With the mushroom,
So,
yeah,
but yeah, but I mean, that's funny as it is. It is, like, okay,
it's
maybe
true.
that happened as is, but it just as well can happen that somebody puts on a picture and or ask AI that, is this mushroom is edible, and it will tell you that, oh, that mushroom is from this mushroom family, and so on, so on, so forth. But it just turns out that it didn't have that particular picture of that mushroom that you were taking, and it looked very similar to a poisonous mushroom, and you eat it. But it will tell you confidently that it is
It's perfectly safe.
99%. Well, that
Yeah,
was
that's
1%.
that's what
So,
everybody needs to get in their heads, that whatever
yeah,
is
but
coming out of AI.
where did it went? Where did the distrust went from people? Because we don't, I mean, a lot of people don't trust hundreds, 200, 300 years of science now. They question that the earth is round, or medicine is good for you, or people
It's
are,
easier for
all
them,
these
Reggie.
this
That's it. It's easier for them
foil hat. Yeah, but why do you trust the
because
AI when it's big
because
corp?
it's easier than to challenge
I
and
gotta,
low.
no, sorry, I give you credit here, Levy. The tinfoil hat reference. I'm gonna have a hard time forgetting this one. That was awesome,
Yeah,
man. Sorry,
yeah,
Judith. I was just cracking up inside so much I couldn't stop.
that's why you come to these sessions all the time.
You need to give it out immediately. Throw it out. Wait 10 minutes. Anyway, I lost the train of thought, so doesn't matter.
I'm
But it's easier.
sorry.
The point that I was trying to get to, Levi, is they lost the distrust because again it's easier. That's it.
Yeah, it's a
People
sheep
don't like.
mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's doing it, and then I'm gonna do it as well. But only because everybody is doing it, it doesn't mean that something is right, right?
It's because the tinfoil's shiny. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. It's funny because I often I question myself, and we've kind of hashed over a couple of mistakes I've made with AI that I've just been dumbfounded by. Is like, how did I do that? It's like, how did I
Overload.
get there? Yeah, I got so comfortable with I assumed everything was fine and went about my business. But if I come back to anything I've done or work I've completed and I review it, then I can go through and find piece by piece mistakes. I'm like, how did I miss that? And I'm not talking about the wonderful new add-on email tool for drafting an email that changed my thank you letter 3 different places with the same phrase. I'm like, where did
The
that
begging
come
letter.
from? But I mean, I'm just talking about stuff in general where first pass, it looked fine. Second pass, step away for an hour or two, come back, and I'm looking and go, no, this is garbage. This is not what I want. This is not what I meant.
As
It's
if
not
it would
creating what
be
I'm after.
influencing your
Yeah.
thought process as well, right? It might not be the intention of it, but that's what it seems like because again, you want to believe that it knows what it's doing and what it's saying because it's
Hmm.
easier to believe than go back and check it. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever it is, but that's what it is. We trust it too much.
Yep. It's really easy to get comfortable.
It's probably as well much easier just to put your trust in it than to understand what's behind it, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They don't understand how it's working, and that's why they are not challenging it.
Just as happy with it.
Yeah. It solved my problem. I don't need to sit above this task for an hour. It did it in 5 minutes for me, and I'm done. I can go and do whatever I want with the rest of my time, right? And I get it because
And
from that perspective, it's helpful. But the quality is a different story.
and
No,
that's
true.
what it is for, right? I mean, that's what it's supposed to
Save
do
time,
is to save time, right? So most students are time savers.
saving time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the risk though is you get complacent and you go ahead and you let it now create something. And so and for simplicity's sake, you create a new program. It writes all the code. It does everything for you. And then it tests it. But you go back and you look at it and the code's garbage. All AI did is it said, okay, I don't know how to make this better, but I can change the test so the test passes.
Yeah.
So rather than fixing the code, it fixes the test so that it passes. And then you've got a product that doesn't work. Simplified, overly simplified, but that's
Vibe
the point.
coding.
Yeah, vibe coding, great stuff, right?
Yeah,
That's the
but
love.
and I think that was a similar situation as well. I told you about in text throughout the other I don't know
Yeah.
2 weeks ago or whenever it was when I wanted it to create a PPT for me from different sources. I gave the sources, and it was just sitting on it, waiting for hours. Well, not hours obviously, but long minutes that I didn't expect it's going to take for it. And then I told it to put it in the right template with the right background and color scheme and everything. It couldn't even do that, and I was sitting there waiting for it to happen and spinning around. I'm working on it. These are the steps that I'm taking. Don't take all those 10 steps. I just need you to do the 11th step.
Yeah, and see, and I was kind of modifying an already existing PowerPoint I had created, and all it had to do was go through and update the infinity loop. And instead of going in the figure eight on the horizontal, it changed the direction of travel. So it went around one loop and then it backtracked around the other side, and it did not follow the flow. I was like, well, how did it do
What?
that? I thought it gave all the source information was solid, and it shouldn't make a mistake like that.
Yeah, that's same with mine. When I told it to use this template and that's the picture I want in it, and you give everything that you have to give for it to succeed. Yet it's not succeeding, and again, just wasting your time. So I know sounding like a broken record, but it's only gonna be as good as the data that is being fed into it initially.
And it's still hallucinating a lot.
Oh yeah,
So for instance, I had an issue that I have to fill out a template every time, and it's very cumbersome. It's a stupid thing, and I really don't want to do it. So what I did, I just put together what I did, in layman terms. I fed the HTML of the site that I'm supposed to generate the template with. So it has all the options, in HTML, and then tell it to generate the like act like the like translate the HTML into code and produce the end result as is it would do it. And it looked like it did, and it was perfect for first glance. And then I generated the same template with the actual HTML, and it was totally different. I mean, the tags. I mean, it's it uses like XML tags, and it produces these XML tags, specific XML tags. They weren't matching. They are in the HTML code. When it generates the template, it is written there. It's with brackets. It's unmistakable. It changes to something else. So by AI, it was changed to something else. It was in a wrong order. It was in mixed up and missed a couple of rows. How could you miss the rows when it's in HTML code? It's a code. You're a computer. You should understand that. No, because it was thinking as a human, a smart-ass human, who doesn't know coding but has all the coding books behind him, and he has the capability to look up every page in an instant, but still doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah, like some of those guys. I bet you don't even have the keys to
you
that.
can
That
you can see the C++ book right there, big
Yeah, I
and
see.
loud. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
all coding books.
I have somewhere
He
Pascal,
probably he
man.
probably he probably would have not missed the code to read it
Yeah,
right with his own eyes.
Now,
yeah.
now, granted,
So
I can't tell you the last time I opened one of those books. It's been a while.
That's why he's saying that you don't even have the keys for the cupboard.
no, is this one of those books with a shape cut, cut inside in the whiskey bottle?
It might as well be.
Yeah, it's thick enough.
It's too funny. But it goes back again. It's the same thing what we keep on saying, that you cannot trust. You need to verify whatever output you're getting out of
for
AI,
sure.
no matter what. And
For
I
sure.
don't know. Back to what you said, Troy, that probably by 2030 we're gonna be there. Still have 3.5 years to go.
Yeah, and that was referencing somebody I don't know a whole lot about. Her name is Mira Murati, and the Thinking Machine Lab, I think, is what it's called. Going from memory, the Thinking Machine Lab is what she's created, and that's kind of the goal, to make AI actually be able to have a conversation, step away from that conversation, have another conversation, but then they have that ability to come back to what you were speaking about previously, like a human would do. And I'm oversimplifying that as well, but very interesting stuff, worth looking into if you're interested.
Yeah, and I think that's the only way to evolve this, because it has all the knowledge that we can feed into with the all the possible mistakes that we do. But if it would be a machine that you can interact with, and it has a memory, which of course it opens up a different set of problems. But if it has a memory, you can teach it on the fly. And if enough people are teaching AI, maybe it would be a better assistant to everyone. But it still has to be an assistant, and what I learned is that you have to keep back and forth if you want to a better
Yeah.
solution or result.
And it feels like we've hit a plateau on LLMs where, they're just not getting any better.
Yeah.
If in fact they may be degrading faster. So it's something's got to change.
It's true what you said, Levi, that if more people would be teaching it, I've seen so many advertisements for companies hiring people to teach AI. But again, it's good. The more people are joining, the more cultures, the more everything else that defines us and the diversity of us, the better it's going to become, because it's going to get different thought processes, different opinions whatsoever. But again, it's important that what we feed into it will have to be controlled and checked.
Yeah, and
Whether
Gina,
it's
there's a
trustworthy
risk.
or not.
There's a trust issue here for me as well, and the risk. And if you just chose like Meta, for example, are they mining all the information, all the intellectual capital, the tribal knowledge, whatever you want to call it, that sits in the human brain, what people know? They're only mining it for that data. They've already mined everything that's available on the internet, so now they got to get it from somebody else. They got to find ways to extract it. What then becomes of the people they hired to make AI smarter? Are they then disposable? What's the risk? And that's my biggest concern. I lack trust in large organizations propagating what they will benefit from at the cost of the people providing the information. I have trust issues. Sorry.
You afraid of selling your future by.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of changing the future, but helping to contribute to it. But nobody wants to be used and discarded. And that's what my fear is, that all that knowledge gain coming from these new jobs that they're posting for, train people how to use AI, train AI how to be smarter. What becomes of when you reach the end of that?
That's another thing what this guy was talking about, who I came with on the first part of the podcast, is that the only thing for sure is open in the future for AI is security. So anything to do with privacy and security is still be a very strong sector in IT in the future. It cannot really be taken over by AI because you need people to judge the morality of things and see the gaps that can be used by other humans to attack. So I think that's also
Well, it's at least
something in the
positive.
future. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Good stuff. Well, thanks, Levy, for the topic. It was a good conversation.
I'm sure NASA will hire you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Sure.
Well,
Sure.
and I've shared previously, the Elon Musk's conversation with the reporter looking up at a rocket, redesigning it. You just redesigned everything, man.
Yeah.
Get that resume updated. Let's get it
That's me.
posted.
Send it in. We're gonna give you the endorsement for real.
That's me in a nutshell.
There you
And
go.
make sure that you attach the link of this podcast in there as
Oh, yeah,
well in your
for sure.
resume.
For sure. That's all I need to attach. I don't need a
Exactly.
resume.
That'll do it, man. You're set. Well, good discussion. Great talking to you guys.
Yeah, make sure you cut
Thank
it properly.
You know what? I'm going to trust AI to edit this one for me. It does a fairly good job.
There we go.
Hey.
Okay. Goodbye, my
First
job.
step. Anyways, we'll talk to you guys again. Maybe next week. I'm not sure when's your vacation plans start bubbling to the surface, Levy.
Only in August.
August. So we got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
You too. Bye.